Shae Powell. I'm in your speech class 1311-43401, and today is February 28, 2015. I'm doing a demonstration speech on how to prepare a famous household meal called meatloaf. My participants are my children, three of them, Jada Johnson, Brandon, and Marquise Powell. They will be helping me prepare this meal. Okay, the ingredients are ground beef. That's the main thing because you have to have that or else you don't have any meat. Eggs, bell pepper, onion, tomato paste, and of course the famous seasoned breadcrumbs. And also the meatloaf seasoning. For those of you who don't prefer meatloaf seasoning, you can also use seasoned meat tenderizer or steak and meat tenderizer or unseasoned meat tenderizer, whichever one you prefer. You also, to prepare this meal, you also need to have a pan, a large size bowl, which is what you see here. And the reason why you need this large size bowl is because that's what you're going to put all your ingredients into once you get ready to mix these ingredients into the meatloaf to give it its flavor and its tenderness. The meat tenderizer comes in handy because you want to make sure that your meatloaf is edible, not too tough and not too soft, because you don't want it to fall apart. Okay. Also, with the bell peppers and onions, you do have to cut them up and dice them up. So, Brandon, hand me the knife so that I can cut it up, and hand me the spoon so I can stir it. Thank you, Brandon. Okay. Also, another important thing that you'll need is a plate because you have to have something to cut your bell peppers and onions on. Also, you're going to need a hand mitt for putting in your pan and taking out your pan. Jada, hand me the hand mitt, please. Also, once you're finished preparing it and putting it in the pan, you want to make sure that your tomato paste doesn't burn. So you definitely want to make sure that you do cover it with foil. Marquise, can you hand me the foil, please? Thank you. Okay. Now, I have some ground beef already inside of the bowl. So now what I'm going to do is put in the cut up bell peppers and onions. Brandon, hand me the bell peppers and onions, which I've already prepared because it's such a short video. I wanted to have some things already done. So you put that in with the ground beef, which is already in here, and the egg, which is already put in as well. You want to put in some breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are for the thickness of it. It's one of the main ingredients to help it stay together. You want to put in your seasoned meat tenderizer because, of course, this gives it just that extra flavor that you like. Okay. As for the ragu tomato paste, you usually put that on when it's pretty much halfway done. But once you put this on the meat, remember, you want to cover it with foil because you don't want it to burn. You just want it to kind of cook in there and, just give it a little more flavor. That tomatoey like flavor. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mix it together. You can do it with a spoon or you can do it with your hands, which is one of the reasons why I'm wearing gloves. Okay. I find it a lot easier to do with my hands, so we're going to go ahead and just start mixing this together with my hands. And what you do is you're just grinding it in, making sure everything is mixed in together. And what we're going to do is put it in the pan and make it in the shape of a loaf, kind of like a bread loaf. But I want to make sure all my ingredients are mixed in thoroughly. Okay. Now that we do have everything mixed in, we're going to go ahead and put it in the pan. Okay? Okay. Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, as you can see, it's really simple, really easy, and really neat. That's why I'm wearing gloves, because that kind of maintains the whole neatness of it. We're going to shape this into a loaf, and we're going to get this meatloaf put in the oven. Now, remember, once we're done shaping this into a loaf, we're going to cover it with foil because we don't want our meat burned. Once it's pretty much done, we're going to cover it with tomato paste, and we're going to put the foil back on here because we don't want our tomato paste burning. Okay, there it is. It's shaped like a loaf. There we go. Now, we're going to cover it with foil. Another important thing to remember that I forgot to mention in the beginning is that whenever you get ready to make a meatloaf, you do want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees, which I have already done. I preheated my oven to 450 degrees. Now remember, the pan is going to be hot when it's done, so make sure you put your hand mitts on, okay? Make sure you have your hand mitts on when you're taking it out of the oven. And it's okay to, have it on while you're putting it in as well. But remember to always have some hand mitts because you don't want to burn your hand. You want to make cooking as fun and easy as possible. Now, that concludes our video and our demonstration for the meatloaf. It's going to stay in here on 450 degrees for approximately 45 minutes to an hour. That way it's well done and cooked on the inside and done to perfection. Again, my name is Shae Powell, and this concludes our video demonstration on the famous household meal, meatloaf.